Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Christy. I'm a homeschool mom to 3, and today we're going to be talking about things I buy too many of in my homeschool. I definitely get excited about resources, curriculum, and a bunch of different things, and a lot of times I overbuy these things and then we don't use them all. The first thing that I buy too many of are workbooks. I don't know what it is about workbooks, but they just draw me in. Like, this looks like a really cool workbook that will add so much to our homeschool, and then it just sits in a drawer because we don't use it. My son does enjoy doing some workbooks, but 1 or 2 workbooks is sufficient. I feel like I buy a workbook thinking it's going to be just this magical thing that's going to add so much value to our homeschool, and a lot of times it's just kind of like the same old thing, or it's something that we don't ever reach for. I buy workbooks for my little ones that are all very similar. I buy workbooks for my older child thinking it's going to, make her love writing more or give her some kind of like different perspective to something. She never wants to do workbooks. She never wants to do workbooks in her free time. We just never reach for them. And so I really just need to stay off Amazon and stop buying workbooks. The second thing that I buy too much of, or have bought too much of, or many of, are reading curriculum and resources. So for this one, I think it stems more so from my own insecurity and lack of confidence in being able to teach my son how to read. So this is our first adventure in doing that, and I don't really know what I'm doing. I have never taught a child to read before, and so I think that when I have doubts like that, I tend to overbuy so that I feel more prepared, or I have a lot of resources to choose from so I can find what is going to work best for that child. And so with reading curriculums, they all kind of draw me in. I like different pieces from different ones. I don't see a problem with using maybe like a couple different ones, but I don't need as many as I have actually purchased. I purchased quite a few reading curriculums and then just like extra resources that are going to help me teach him how to read. And to be quite honest, it has been a lot simpler of a process than I have anticipated. And so I really don't need all of those reading resources. Number 3 in what I bought too much of stems back to my first year of homeschooling when I was trying to prepare to homeschool with a toddler in tow. My daughter was like 1 when we started homeschooling, or barely 1, maybe not even quite there. And I did a lot of research before I jumped into homeschooling, and I saw these like toddler busy bins everywhere. Everybody like organized these bins based on the days of the week with a bunch of different like activities in them, and you could pull them out to give your little ones something to do during school time. I mean, I purchased puzzles and I purchased activity books and like little matching card games and little wooden like block toys and like all of these different things. And to be quite honest, my toddler just likes Play-Doh or sand, or like a simple bucket of rice. She doesn't gravitate towards using those things. Those kinds of things are things she wants me to sit there and do with her, so that defeats the entire purpose. And so yeah, I didn't really need to put those together. I didn't really need to buy all of those like learning resources that are marketed for toddlers, because I find that my toddler learns plenty when she's joining in on our school day, which she much prefers to sit there and paint or play with Play-Doh, or like I said, a bucket of beans and some like scoops. She's completely content doing that most of the time. And if she's not, which happens too, we just kind of handle it as we go. But I did not need to purchase all of those resources for sure. Number 4 in what I purchased too many of are Printable bundles. And I say that as actually a contributor to these kinds of bundles. I enjoy contributing, and I really love printable bundles. Like, I just get sucked into them. They all are so great and amazing, and they look beautiful. And I actually tend to buy too many of them, though, to where I don't ever use all of the resources. Don't get me wrong, I still pull from old bundles that I bought, 2 years ago. I still have them on my hard drive, and I pull resources from them all the time. However, I put them on my hard drive, and a lot of times I forget that they're there, or I forget what kinds of resources were in specific bundles, or I start using resources from a new bundle and forget about the old ones. And so I have quite a few bundles just saved on my hard drive, and I don't think I'll ever really get through all of the resources, every single one that are on there. And so realistically, I should not be buying more bundles before I use what I already have. There are plenty of great resources that I already have. I don't need the newest, most beautiful, newest and greatest bundle that comes out. Number 5 in what I purchased too many of: learning apps and subscriptions. I don't know what it is, but I feel like, oh, this learning app is going to be so good for my kids to practice their skills on. And it's good for like a minute, but a lot of them are very, very similar, and I don't need 5 of a very, very similar app. One is enough. And also, my kids don't spend a lot of time playing on apps, so really, we kind of just forget about them, and it's just a subscription. Subscription-wise, I do that a lot too, like the ABC Mouse, Reading Eggs, what are some other ones? Curiosity Stream, just different little like subscriptions that are supposed to like enrich our learning experience, and half the time we don't end up using them as much as I would hope to have used them. Oftentimes, I will jump into a subscription or an app and use it for a minute, and then have to go through and cancel it because it's just an extra cost every month and we're not using it. So I definitely need to hone back on learning apps and subscriptions. The next thing that I purchased too many of are unit studies. Now, I just am really drawn to unit studies in general and that style of learning. And so when I see a new, beautiful unit study that's released, it's really hard for me to resist it, especially if it like has a lot of content and I just know that it's going to be this beautiful thing. I buy a lot of unit studies, and so I have a lot of them stored up again on my hard drive, and I need to really try to use what I have before I buy another unit study for sure. The last thing that I buy too many of in our homeschool are books. Just kidding. You can never have too many books, in my opinion. We love books, and I don't foresee myself not buying so many books in the future. I love books. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing what I buy too much of. Hopefully I can kind of rein that in a little bit. I would love to know some things that you guys buy too many of in your homeschool that you don't really use all of what you buy down below. Please let me know. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in another video very soon.